Ma'am, good morning. Ma'am Fatima and Ma'am Oria. I cannot do Facebook Live, but I can only do YouTube Live, and it's already streaming in my channel. I've already posted it in the chat, yung link po yun. Pwede naman yata na sa FB Live i-direct sa YouTube. I-paste lang din yung link. Pero sa YouTube lang po ako may controls. Wala po sa Facebook.
Good morning, Ma'am Au. Good morning, Ma'am Au.
Good morning. Let us wait for the other participants to join the meeting. We will begin at exactly 9:10 a.m. Let's just wait for the other participants to join the meeting. While waiting for the other participants, let's watch the video prepared by WIMSU CSM Gender Club.
Excuse me, the mic is off po. We cannot hear anything. Still, we cannot hear anything.
Good morning, everyone. We will start in a moment. Excuse me, Miss Sabihul. Naka-off po ata yung mic niya.
In Honduras,
Okay.
gang
Okay,
violence,
ma'am.
poverty,
Ulitin, ma'am. Za.
and corruption is
Nunca pensé venir a ver a mi hija en este lugar aquí, a donde está. Ahorita en la mañana la enterramos. No era merecido que mi hija estuviera en este lugar, a donde estamos, a donde estoy yo y donde está descansando mi hija. Mi corazón, como que me haya pegado una puñalada, mejor que me hubieran matado a mí, que me mataron la niña.
In Honduras, gang violence, poverty, and corruption is fueling a bloody war against women.
A esta hora la pueden estar matando a uno. Les cortan los brazos y les quitan como que fuera yuca, pues.
This past year alone, a woman has been murdered every 36 hours, making Honduras the femicide epicenter of Latin America.
Como investigadora de muerte de mujeres, yo me quedé como que, ¿qué está pasando con estos hombres?
Me toca hacer la de forense, irlos a arreglar a los chicos, a jalarnos, subir todo esto, bajar esos cerros caminando.
Each person's perspective shifts as the world around them change. We came across the transition where women were seen as less empowered. Women have fought for equality and against oppression for centuries. And although some battles have been partly won, such as the right to vote and equal access to education, women continue to be adversely affected by all sorts of violence and discrimination in all aspects of life. But as the world changes, women are gradually allowed to make choices. A choice to take charge of their destiny, to be a woman of courage, passion, perseverance, ingenuity, compassion, and determination. It is about those who are determined to break barriers. Be a woman of substance. A woman of substance is a woman of power, a woman of positive influence, and a woman of meaning. Being a strong woman means being able to live your life on your terms, being able to do whatever you desire, being able to treat others with equal respect, and being able to take responsibility for your thoughts and actions. We have had enough discussions about who is better, men or women. We have devised several equations to explain how women were denied their rights and oppressed in the past, and in some cases still are today. We can never stop debating whether one gender is superior to the other. What matters is the ability to appreciate both genders equally and without discrimination. There is no right or wrong time to speak up for what we believe in. Now is time to stand up in solidarity with women. Let us celebrate femininity and break stigma together.
Good morning, Gendies, to our speakers, participants, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning.
We would like to extend a very warm welcome to all of you. We appreciate you taking the time of your busy schedules to join us in this wonderful webinar. We hope that you will learn a lot today, and we have inlined something special just for you guys for it to be fruitful and engaging. First of all, at this point, we would like to congratulate the people who are reasons why we are having this kind of event. After all the hindrances that came their way, they still managed to organize and make this event possible. A round of virtual applause for the Gender Club community.
By the way, partner, let us introduce ourselves. We are your hosts for today's event. I am Charles Adrian A. Abian.
And I am Alec Ayana B. Jimeno.
And we formally welcome you to our webinar, The Future is She.
The future is she.
Before we proceed with the program, I would like to imply the house rules. First, participants will automatically be muted. Second, questions and comments should be typed in the question box and will be answered at the end of speaker's presentation. Public participants' questions will be addressed during the public comment periods per schedule. Third, ask questions concisely. Webinars are focused. Be sure to your questions. Avoid wasting time in lengthy introductions and don't self-promote or spend a lot of time sharing your opinion before asking a question. If you have comments, ask yourself if they will help others before commenting. And lastly, the participants will be able to create a discussion and ask questions during a discussion period as mentioned in the schedule. Are there any queries with the house rules? If you have questions, clarifications, and suggestions, kindly comment them down on the chat box so that we can address your concerns.
Now, let us begin our opening ceremony with a prayer followed by the Philippine National Anthem, our Zamboanga Hermosa theme, and our Wimsu hymn.
Excuse me, Miss Saibul. Wala pong sound. Excuse me, Miss Haibul, wala pa rin pong sound. Excuse me, Miss Haibul, please open your mic so that we can hear the sound po. Thank you. Sorry for the inconvenience. We're having some technical issues.
We humbly ask for your patience to wait until our technical team has solved the problems for their audio.
Hello.
We're having some technical issues po, ma'am, with the sound system. We're fixing it na po, ma'am.
Okay. Okay. So what's the next na? Ibian.
Introduction po sa'yo, ma'am.
So
For the
welcome.
opening remarks. Yes, po.
Okay. So good morning, everyone. We celebrate Women's Month to remind ourselves of the accomplishments of the women throughout the years, to our culture and society, from science to politics, It is a chance to reflect on the trailblazing women to lead the way for change. Before we get started, I would like to express my sincere appreciation to all who generously help us make this event together to become a success. To our beloved President, Dr. Maria Carla Altea Ochotorena, for her untiring support to this kind of activity. To our Dean, Dr. Araceli A. Lim, for her untiring support. To Dr. Ray for facilitating the platform for this event. To Ereli for allowing us to the use of this platform. To Siti May and Musa, the president of our CSM Gender Club, so with the officers for spearheading this activity, especially to our guest speakers who willingly and wholeheartedly accepted the invitation. Thank you so much. And to our dear CSM students, okay, for giving your precious time for this webinar. And we couldn't have done it without all of you, all of us here. In today's webinar, I would like to focus on the topics that will be shared to us by our speakers. So for Women Empowerment webinar, okay, the breaking barriers and okay, sharing pioneers of change and women exercising their choices and promote gender responsive pandemic recovery to be discussed by our professionals. So the aim is to provide empowerment to women as active contributors and claim holders of development. So also a means to provide a support to students of WEMSU in terms of their gender identity and provide encouragement. So today, it will be fun and full of learning. So I would like to welcome everyone to this webinar. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you.
Thank you, Ma'am Coros. And now, let us welcome our beloved Dean of College of Science and Mathematics, Dr. Araceli A. Lim, to give a special message.
Thank you, our MCs. Okay. A pleasant and blessed Sunday morning to you, my dear students of the CSM Gender Club. By the way, am I audible enough?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. You are.
That's good. To Ma'am Aurea Coros, the CSM Gender Club Advisor, also the CSM Coordinator for Guidance and Gender. To Dr. Mariam Julkarnain, the Director of the Gender Research and Resource Center, and the resource persons of this webinar. Faculty present today. Again, a pleasant and blessed Palm Sunday morning for the Catholics, okay? I take pride and delight in addressing you in this webinar, making myself involved in this commendable activity, the 2022 National Women's Month celebration. This closing activity is sponsored by the CSM Gender Club The university had its culmination activity last March 31, highlighted by a pagpugay sa kababaihan, honoring the empowered wanas of the university in recognition of their dedication and service to the university. To note, Wana is the coined label to the empowered woman. Women's empowerment and gender equality are what we, women and girls, have achieved, and this we celebrate in the observance of Women's Month. At this point, allow me to read a part of the write-up with regard to the history of this Women's Month celebration. And I quote, National Women's History Month traces its roots to March 8, 1857, when women from various New York City factories staged a protest over poor working conditions. The first Women's Day celebration in the United States was in 1909, also in New York City. More than 7 decades later, Congress of the Philippines in 1981 established National Women's History Week to be commemorated annually the second week of March. In 1987, Congress expanded the week to a month, and every year since has passed a resolution, and the President has issued a proclamation designated March as Women's History Month. Unquote. With this activity and this observance of the National Women's Month, let us continue to reflect on the great, remarkable contributions women have made through the years. The Women's Month celebration provides an opportunity to give Juanas the power to lay the marks for future leaders like you, my dear students, in order to address gender issues. This year, the nation recognizes the valuable role of women in society for sustainable and inclusive development. This can be attained when gender equality becomes obtainable. However, this inclusive development and progress in empowering women have been undoubtedly challenged by the COVID-19 pandemic. Nevertheless, the celebration of Women's Month ignites us, Juanas, to take center stage and serving as pioneers of change, standing up with this year's theme, Agenda ng Kababaihan tungo sa Kaunlaran. Even as we bring to a close this month-long celebration, we continue to celebrate women empowerment and uphold gender equality, making sure we don't fight for superiority over men, but equality. As Dean of the College of Science and Mathematics, I congratulate the CSM Gender Club officers led by its president, Ms. Siti May Ann Musa, its members and advisor for organizing this activity, conducting it even on a weekend. My best wishes for a fruitful and webinar and a productive time. Thank you for having me today and for your attention. God bless us all and enjoy the rest of the day, everyone. Thank you again.
Thank you, Mom, for that wonderful message. Allow me to call on Ms. Coros, the WINSU CSM Gender Club Advisor, to formally welcome our first resource speaker.
Good morning, everyone. So our first resource speaker is a woman of humility and a fighter of women's rights, not only in the university, but in her life's advocacy. She is a friend to all and a motherly boss to her constituents, which made her effective and efficient in her center in promoting its programs and projects. She is a holder of Doctor of Education, a registered nurse, an active, very active in her civic and professional work, and a very dignified woman promoting goodwill for all. The pride of WEMSU's Gender Research and Resource Center. Let us welcome our very own Dr. Mariam Zamora Dulkarnain.
Thank you for that kind introduction, Ma'am Coros. A pleasant morning to each and everyone, to the Dean of CSM, Dr. Araceli Lim, the Gender Club officers of College of Science and Mathematics. Thank you for coming up with such a webinar. Okay, it's timely, no? Although we celebrated, we culminated the Women's Month celebration last March 31. Okay, so I would like to share my screen. Okay. Oh, can you disable? Okay, I will share my screen now. Okay. There, wait a while. How is this? Can you see my screen? Wait a while.
Not yet, ma'am.
My PowerPoint. Pa-disable naman, please. I cannot share my screen. Okay, there. Okay. Can you see my screen now, my PowerPoint?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes po, ma'am.
So my talking point is on God and its legal mandates. Okay. Okay. When we talk about human rights, actually human rights are basic rights. Remember, they are basic rights and freedoms that belong to every person in the world. It's from birth until death. I used to tell this in nursing, like we always follow, especially in taking care of a client, but with human rights, it is inherent in us from womb to tomb. Okay, these are basic rights based on shared values like dignity, fairness, respect, independence, and equality. And that is our advocacy, no, in terms of God, gender, and development. So remember, when these rights are recognized, okay, by the law, and it's already a mandate, we have to follow the law and abide by the law. That is why we have this such program in the government, not only in the government, it's worldwide, our gender and development, our advocacy is there. If we trace back history, women, okay, this is her story of women's rights. Century ago, women were faceless. We are faceless, why? Because long time ago, women are just They are contained inside the house. They cannot go out. If you try to recall the image of Maria Clara, siya ang babaeng pambahay, nasa bahay lang, okay? Bawal lumabas, okay? She has to do the household chores and everything, no? But nowadays, with this empowerment issue, we try to open our gender lenses. Women are voiceless. Why we are voiceless? Okay. Usually we are in a patriarchal country. So who decides? It's the father. Okay, men again. It's the father who decides. The head of the family, of course, is the father. He decides for everything. What happened to the mother? Okay, she will just follow the order of the father. That is why we are voiceless. Okay, we are nameless in the sense when we get married, our identity is changed. But mind you, it's only the status that change. In the new civil code, we can retain our family name. We are not obliged to change our family name, but it would depend now on the couple, but we have our right. Okay. So, ito. How did we broke our silence? No, it's because of the courage of women. No, we have this women organization. Okay, empowered women. No, through their collective efforts everywhere, they fought and succeeded in asserting these rights to suffrage, education, employment, health, participation in political, economic, and social life. No, of society. Okay, going back to that one I said, nameless. In Islam, women retain their family name. Okay. But again, no, we are not obliged to use the surname in the new civil law. Okay. So there. Where these did policies on women empowerment prop, no? Actually, it came from all of these policy guidelines. We have our national policy guidelines. Let me correct, that's 9262, that's VAUSI. Okay. We have the Magna Carta of Women, okay? Republic Act 9710, okay? We have the Ambition 2040, the Philippine Plan, okay? And our official gazette. We also have our General Appropriations Act. That is why our 5% no, national budget is because of this General Appropriations Act. So we have an allocation of 5% of the national budget for God-related activities, projects, and programs. Okay. So we have this, okay. Actually, these are policy guidelines where we crafted, okay, our gender and development policy. We have our international policy guidelines, okay, where we crafted also, no, where you can see God, gender, and development. So, for a while, sandali, yung aking pusa nag Okay, so we have these international policy guidelines where we crafted, okay, like the Beijing Platform for Action, okay, originated in China. So, okay, this Beijing Platform for Action, this is a landmark document for advancing the rights of women and gender and equality worldwide. It's an international organization. Then we have this CEDAW. What is this CEDAW? CEDAW is Convention on the Elimination of All Forms of Discrimination Against Women. It crafted, okay, it started in 1981 during the United Nations General Assembly. Then we have the Sustainable Development Goals. It's a global. So you see, it's a global. Gender and development is a global matter. Okay, so global goals set by the United Nations General Assembly in 2015. So what is this Sustainable Development Goals. Okay. It's a blueprint of all development. Okay. The goal here is having a sustainable future, no? And a better world. Okay. So where is gender and development? Okay. It's number 5 of our SDG, the Sustainable Development Goal. Look at there, it's number 5, gender equality. Okay, here are some laws pertaining to God. Okay, we have the EO 227, the new family code of the Philippines. I will just share this some of our God policies. Okay. So the new family code, in fact, there is no illegitimate now, no. Children can use the surname of their father, okay? And then we have the Republic Act 7192, Women in Development and Nation Building Act. Okay, this is already our Magna Carta, no? Okay, so part of development, it's just not men in the limelight. We have women already, partners in development and nation building. Then we have the Republic Act 6725. Okay, this is an act strengthening the prohibition or on discrimination of women. Okay, in terms of employment. Okay, you have there amending the labor code. Then we have Republic Act 7877. This is the anti-sexual harassment. Okay. Law, okay, which declares sexual harassment unlawful. Remember, in employment, education, training, and environment. And with this, we have a new law, Republic Act, which is Republic Act 11313. I know you are aware of this, the Bawal Bastos Law. In fact, our school, no, we are one of the 5 universities, no, nationwide. We were awarded to have this safe space. And good enough, we have Mr. Ferolino as our safe space coordinator. Okay, so in Western Mindanao, it's WIMSU who started the safe space. It's because of the Republic Act 11313, the Bawal Bastos Law. It's going to be another session, and it's a nice session, no, for you students. So you will really know your rights. Okay. Okay, part of our gender and development is on this Yogyakarta principle. So when we say Yogyakarta, this has something to do with the sexual orientation and gender identity, no to discrimination. Okay, so LGBTQ, because they have the rights, no, to enjoy, just like us, all of us, there is equality, non-discrimination. Okay, this is what we call the Yogyakarta principle. So regardless of your gender, LGBTQ+, okay, no to discrimination. Okay. Okay, if we look at the first SONA of our president, you have there, okay, on women empowerment, all agencies, oversight bodies, and local government units down to barangay level to fully implement Magna Carta of Women. It's Magna Carta of Women, not Magna Carta for women, it's of women, because it is ours, women. This is to ensure that men and women, look at the provisions, men and women, okay, will be partners in the pursuit of country's economic, social, cultural, political, okay, developments. So you see, and anchored on malasakit at pagbabago, or true compassion and real change. Again, if we go back to the legal framework on gender and development, we always follow this gender fair organization. Okay, so our legal framework, okay, is to promote gender fair organization. Although earlier I discussed where this gender and development crafted. So it all came from these laws, no? The CEDAW, the Beijing Platform for Action, the SDG, and remember, it's in our Philippine Constitution, which is the Magna Carta of Women. Okay, so what is Magna Carta? This is the salient, okay, point, no, on Magna Carta of Women. It's a comprehensive women's right law that seeks to eliminate, again, seeks to eliminate discrimination against women by recognizing, protecting, fulfilling, and promoting the rights of Filipino women, especially the marginalized sector. So look at there, God programs addressing gender issues and concerns shall be designed and implemented based on, okay, the mandate. Okay, both for non-governmental agencies and the local government units. Remember, okay, as mentioned earlier, we have that 5% because of this Magna Carta of Women, the General Appropriations Act. So we have a 5% allotted budget, okay, allocated, all for God-related programs and activities, and even infrastructure like CR, pwede, no? You can come up with a budget. If you have project, you can channel it to our office, no? If you need to renovate your CR, but it has to be a 1 year, what's this? Plan, no? So we can include it in our God plan and budget. If you have proposal, my dear students, even researches, okay. Why are we talking about this? Okay, because there are still issues up to now. Although some of our men and women, maybe they have their they open their gender lenses. So still, this is an issue, especially in terms of culture. Okay. Because, okay, we need, as part of our advocacy, we need to identify what are those issues and gaps, no, so that we can come up with an intervention. That is why we do this advocacy, not just for the faculty, students as well, so that we will have a gender sensitive and gender responsive organization. Because we know that men and women are equal. You see, men and women are equal. Okay. Equal in the sense, okay, in the level of the playing field, we are equal. Okay. That is why I used to say this long before. We don't have women NBA, but now because of this advocacy, we already have dati-rati NBA lang, and we play equally, no? Okay, in the game field. Equal value for both men and women. Okay, equal representation, okay, in all sectors of society. So you see, that is why we have women in the politics, elsewhere women, okay, president, meron na tayo. Equal employment opportunities. Okay, like in the uniformed personnel, long before, okay, it's only male, no? Who is in the police, who is a police officer maybe, in the police force, in the military, but now because of this Magna Carta of Women, okay, nandyan na si Kababaihan. In fact, there is first, again, sa Philippine Air Force, a woman, first woman who was awarded, I guess she's the one handling the jet fighter. Oh, it's a woman first, okay, in the Philippine Air Force. Then we have equal employment opportunities, yun na nga, okay. Part of the recruitment, there is a percentage for women. Equal enjoyment of socially valued goods, resources, and rewards. Okay. Equal commitments and obligations, and even in decision making. Okay. There has to be equality. But still, we have still gender issues. That is why our advocacy continues. Okay, on and on and on. Okay, so remember, if we have issue, it will affect us. There is problem, no? These issues affects everybody, men, women, rich or poor, young or old, in all spheres of life. Okay, that is why with this declaration, let me read this declaration. We hold these truths to be self-evident that all men and women are created equal, that they are endowed by their creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are, okay, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. That is according to the United States Declaration. You see, as early as 1776, okay, there is already advocacy on gender equality. Okay, so I won't take much of your time. So here is the Declaration of Human Rights, Universal Declaration of Human Rights. All human beings are born free and equal. So thank you for listening. God bless us all. I will have another speaking engagement also. Okay. So again, congratulations, College of Science and Mathematics, to the Dean, the faculty, of course, the advisor, Ma'am Coros. Thank you for coming with such a program for our gender. Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Good
Mom,
day.
for the discussion, Mom.
So that was really informative, no? Thank you so much, Ma'am Julkarnain, for sharing that with us, instilling these laws into our mind. Because as Ma'am mentioned, no, it is still a big issue in our society. Equality is still a stigma, but because of these different laws that we have right now, different we have different advocacies that strives for equality. So slowly, it is starting to erase the stigma of inequality. So at the end of the day, like what Mom said, we are all humans deserving of rights, deserving of happiness, and because we all want to make the best of our lives, and even
I agree, Ms. Jimeno. Now, if you have the chance to ask questions to Dr. Mariam Zamora Julkarnain about the topic she has discussed, comment down your questions and we'll call on some of you. Just open your mic when you are acknowledged. Good morning, Ma'am. I have questions po, Ma'am, regarding sa discussion
Yes.
po, Ma'am. Yes po, Ma'am. Now, this is my question po, Ma'am. In
Okay.
today's society, Ma'am, the youth tend to be more expressive in terms of how they view themselves and manifest it in public. What do you think that greatly contribute these changes po, Ma'am?
Actually, the youth of today is different from the youth of before. Before, we are in a conservative era, okay? But because of mass media, okay, the youth now are very assertive and open. But mind you, my dear student, still you have to follow the rule of law. You should know what are those laws pertaining to data privacy, like you just come up to the open, no, to the social media and the Anti-Bullying Act, you should know that. Okay, and you just have to be guided by the rule of law. Nothing to worry if you want to express yourselves, but just be careful of the law. Okay.
Thank you po, ma'am.
So always be guided, okay?
Okay. Hello, ma'am. Good morning.
Yes.
I have a question po, regarding earlier. So, my first question po, ma'am, is this is really one of the concerns, no, in today's generation. And my question is, how does gender stereotype po affects the gender role in today's society?
Okay, so gender stereotyping. Again, we have the anti-discrimination law. So you have to be careful. Like in Zamboanga City, we have this EO 543, no to discrimination, to all spheres of life, LGBTQ, men, women, children, and even the elderly. So it's good for Zamboanga, we have this. So you just have to be guided. Okay, again, I'm going back to the rule of law. Be guided because actually we still have these issues until now. That is why we do advocacy. We do the advocacy to all of you, to students, faculty, and other agencies, no? So we will be reminded of our role in society. I suggest we need a session on gender issues. It's a nice topic also. You will know what are those issues affecting us. Like gender issues will crop up from family, social media, politics, and the like.
Yes,
Gender
po,
issues are just there. Okay.
Ma'am, I have a question regarding the...
Okay. Oh, sige. We have 5 minutes. By 10 a.m., I have another. Okay, okay.
Okay, I think we can contribute, empower other women and of course other members of the LGBTQ.
How can you contribute to empowerment? Is that your question?
Yes,
Student and even LGBTQ plus.
Yes,
How can you
ma'am.
contribute? First thing that you need to do is you need to open your gender lens. When I say gender lens, you are open to all issues, no? In terms of equality, you know your rights. And if your gender lens, no, is already open, you can do the advocacy. You can be one of us, no? In imparting knowledge, no, on gender issues. So open your gender lens, no? So that's it. So how do you open your gender lens? Of course, yun. You have to have that equality in you. You look at people the same, at the same level. And most of all, you have the respect and dignity. Yan.
Thank you po, ma'am. So let's proceed. Let's have an icebreaker before we proceed to our next speaker. Let me call on CSM Gender Club Vice President Zainab Mahmood.
Can I leave? Can I leave? Ma'am Coros?
Yes po, ma'am.
Yes, mom. Yes, mom. I know you have another
Okay.
appointment today.
Okay, thank
Thank
you, my
you.
dear students.
Thank you po,
Okay,
Thank you
bye
ma'am,
for
so
for
much, Ma'am
attending.
now.
Mariam.
Okay, God bless you. Stay
Thank you so
safe.
much.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
I hope I have enlightened you all.
Yes,
But we
yes.
still need more sessions. Okay. So bye for now.
Okay, ma'am. Thank
Thank you
you.
po, ma'am.
It's a new learning
Photo
for
op muna.
everyone.
Pwede photo op.
Ah,
Ako
yes,
nang
yes,
humingi ng
yes.
photo op.
Photo
Yes, ma'am.
op.
Yes, ma'am. Totoo.
Yes.
Santiago will screenshot po, ma'am. Can everyone open their cam so that we can
We have
see
30
po?
participants. Okay.
Santiago, please acknowledge. Step 1, 2, 3. Okay na po.
Okay,
Thank you.
bye.
Thank you, Ma'am
Thank you
Yam.
too.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am, Miss Mahmood.
Excuse me, Ma'am Aw and the
Yes.
officers of the gender. I would also beg to leave the floor now, the virtual floor.
Thank you so much, Ma'am
Yes,
Nan.
Thank you,
thank you for
ma'am.
having
Thank you
me.
so
Huh?
much, ma'am, for
Okay, good
attending,
luck to
ma'am.
you. Good luck to you.
Thank
Okay,
you so
bye.
Thank you,
much.
Yeah.
ma'am.
I will just start with the next speaker and then I will leave silently. Okay?
Okay, Ma'am Nance.
Ah,
Okay.
Yes po, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
yeah.
May I call on Miss Mahmood to give the instructions for the icebreaker?
So, good morning,
I don't think
everyone. So now we will move on to the portion wherein we will have our question and answer. So, for the mechanics of the game, so this game is actually a question and answer portion. And for the mechanics, first is a set of rules will be given. Next, only when the go signal is given and players can provide the letter of their chosen answer. So you can provide the letter of your chosen answer in the chat box below. So note that the first one to give the correct answer after the go signal is given will be the winner. So of course, we will have prizes for this game. So we are looking forward for your participation. Anyway, the questions are very easy, and I know everyone can participate in this game. So let's start.
Excuse me, before we start, I would like to suggest everyone to put on the chat box to everyone, put it first to everyone before you type your answers or before we proceed to the first question. Enough time. Miss Miss
Can I?
Zainab, you can.
Okay.
Yes.
So let's start for the first question. So in the figure in the screen, so who is the person in the picture and what is she known for? So for letter A, we have Anne Frank, wrote the diary of Anne Frank during the World War II. Letter B, Anne Frank wrote The Pride and Prejudice. Letter C, Anne Frank, a known German activist, and letter D, Annie Frank wrote the Diary of Annie during the World War II. Go.
We have 3. How about the others?
Since the first one to answer is Miss Ephriel Cantley, and her answer is letter A, which is correct, she will be the winner for this question number. Please take note. Okay, Ephriel Cantley. Next, so we will move on to the next question. For question 2, mabilisan lang to guys, so be fast when typing your answer. So here in the picture in the screen, who is the person in the picture and what is she known for? A. Maya Angelou, an African-American poet, singer, memoirist, and civil rights activist. B. Maya Angelou, an African-American memoirist and civil rights activist. C. Maya Angelou wrote The Pride and Prejudice, and letter D, Marie Angelou, a known civil rights activist. Go. Okay, we have a winner. So the correct answer for this is letter B, which is Maya Angelou, an African-American poet, singer, memoirist, and civil rights activist. So the winner for this question is Miss Shatterland Takbobo. And please note, okay, so now we will move on to question 3. So who is the person in the picture and what is she known for? A. Angeline Tam, founder and CEO of Krusty Krab. B. Angeline Tam, founder and CEO of Angkas. It is an app. C. Angeline Tam, founder and CEO of Sapuso Mo. And letter D. Angeline Tam, founder and CEO of Jollibee. Wala pang go signal guys. Okay? So, Jericho and Joyce Ann, you're not counted for this question. Okay, go. Guys, by the way, those who were able to win in the first, who were able to answer correctly and have their prizes already, you can't join on the other questions, okay? So let's give chance to the other. So the first one to answer here is Yasin Asidik, right? So, and his answer is letter B, which is correct. So for the question 3, we have Yasin Asidik for the winner. Please note. So as you can see in the questions, there are actually women who are known in their own field and they are really empowered. So let's move on to question 4. So here, who is the person in the picture and what is she known for? A. Nanay Naneng, founder of Chowking. B. Socorro Ramos, founder of National Bookstore. And C. Nanay Coring, founder of National Bookstore. And D. Nanay Sara, founder of Natori Company. So, go. Okay, we have a winner. So for this question, the correct answer is letter B. This is Socorro Ramos, who is the founder of National Bookstore. So we have Joyce Ann Ramos as the winner for this question. Please note. Okay, so let's move on to the next question. Okay, another empowered woman here. We have Who is the person in the picture and what is she known for? A. Alexandra Eduque, a known Filipino businesswoman. B. Alexandra Eduque, first and youngest Filipino to be recognized at the Global Awards for fundraising in Amsterdam, Netherlands. And letter C. Alexandra Eduque, founder of Move NGO. Go. Okay, we have a winner, Miss Sai Russia Lois Antolin. The correct answer for this question is letter C. She is Alexandra Eduque, a founder of an NGO which is named Moved. So this is actually an NGO that supports education all over the world. So at a very young age, she has established her own NGO which she is leading up until now. So very talented Filipina. Okay, the winner is Sai. Please note. Okay, for the next question. Next, please. Another empowered woman we have here. So for letter A, so who's the person in the picture and what is she known for? For this is actually very just recent due to the pandemic situation. And who is she? So A, Ana Patricia Non started the Maginhawa Community Pantry in Quezon City in April of 2021. B, Ana Patricia Non, founder of Sapuso Mo, and letter C, Ana Patricia Non, manager of Krusty Krab. So who is she? Go. Okay. Hey Hada, you type your answer too early, so you're not counted. So we have Shatterland, you already won another question, so you're not counted. Okay, Miss Radia Israel Alama. We have a winner for this question, Miss Radia. Okay, for letters, for question, next question, please. For a while, guys. I think something's
The second half of the icebreaker will continue later after we introduce our second speakers for today's webinar. So let us all welcome our second speakers who will be tackling about women exercising their choices and women leading change and reaching their full potential. They both major in social studies and devotes their time in being a student leader. Ladies and gentlemen, let us all welcome the Secretary and Branching Secretary of the Education's Academic Organization, Ms. Sani Santiago, along with the Social Media and Documentation's Head of the Education's Academic Organization, Ms. Jayla Marga Usman. Let's all give them a virtual round of applause.
Hello, hello, hello. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, po.
Okay. So I will be sharing my screen now. Um, can I ask the host to? Okay. The screen sharing is still disabled. Okay. Hello. So hello everyone.
Hello,
Can I
good
see?
morning.
Hello, Ma'am Coro. So can I
Yes.
see everyone to react, maybe a heart react or something that so that I will know that you are still here in the plenary.
Yeah.
Okay. So let me start now already so that I will not be wasting time. I will not be wasting time. So an empowered woman is powerful beyond measure and beautiful beyond description. Magis afternoon, everyone. I hope Yes, everyone is doing fine beyond that closed camps. And I want to greet first of all a belated happy Women Empowerment Month since I don't have the opportunity last month to greet all of you. We are, with my pair, Jira Marga, we are beyond grateful to be able to share our points of discussion seen on your screen. Okay, so first, the presentation of outline, and then second, check-in session, followed by women exercising their choice, women leading, and women's representation in society. Again, I am Sunny Di Santiago, and with me is
Jira Margo Usman.
Okay, so we want you to just feel youthful and active in this session. First of all, before starting, we want to ask you, how are you feeling? So I want the participants, all the participants, to comment in the chat box their feeling. Maybe number one, is it you're happy? Are you happy right now? Or number two, you are at the peak of breaking down because of the requirement. Number three, you're somewhat cramming for your maybe finals exam or midterms exam. Number four, nawiwindang na ba kayo sa mundo? Or number five, haggard tayo. So I want everyone to comment there. Okay. Can you see the chat box, Marga?
Yes, ayun. I can see the chat box. So, meron tayong 3. Marami din tayong 4. Marami tayong 5. Guys, kaya pa ba? Okay pa ba kayo? Are you doing well? Carry pa ba natin to? Ayan, meron tayong 3. Naku, Sunny. Ayan. I think, kita naman natin kung ano yung parang nafe-feel nila today. And as a fellow student, I feel you, I understand you. 3 million. Sorry. I see you, and of course know that as students we can get through this, and that what you feel right now is valid, but let us also not forget that kahit ganyan nararamdaman natin, the end or the results of this will be worth it and fruitful. Diba, Sunny?
Yes, yes, yes. So now let's proceed with our next slide. The slides that you are seeing right now are just some of the many remarkable women we know. However, I have chosen these 5 people because they are more familiar to almost all of us. So the first picture is Miriam Defensor Santiago, the late Miriam Defensor Santiago. She is the first Filipino and Asian judge of the International Criminal Court in UN, a remarkable woman indeed. She was also the first female editor-in-chief of the University of the Philippine Students newspaper. Many revere the senator for her intelligence and courage in fighting corruption in the country. And second is Miss Lea Salonga, the multi-awarded singer and actress, and the first Asian female to play Broadway musical named Les Miserables, and she is also the first Asian female to win Best Performance by Leading Actress in a Musical for Miss Saigon, and Best Director for a musical at Tony's Award. In one of her interviews, she said that she experienced a lot of racial discrimination, especially that she is a woman of Asia. But she paved the way and proved herself that being an Asian woman is not a hindrance to showcasing your talents. Third, Paz Marquez Benitez. In history, Paz is a prominent figure of our Philippine literature. She wrote the first modern short story in English. She was also the mentor of the first generation of Filipino writers in English. Indeed, empowered women empowers a woman. She is Paz Marquez Benitez. Number 4 is Maria Ressa. In 2021, Rappler's Maria Ressa became the first Filipino Nobel Peace Prize laureate. Although the esteemed journalist had to overcome barriers hindering her from claiming the prize in Oslo because of pending issues and cases here in the Philippines. However, she also paved the way and received her award that is really worthy. And lastly, of course, our very own Haidilyn Diaz. She won the first Olympic gold medal for our country. Given the gender stereotype in the sports that she's playing, she rose above the stereotype and and proved that she can. So Marga, do you have to say something?
Ayun, yes. Among the 5 remarkable women, we want to ask you, kanino kayo nakaka-relate or who do you mostly relate to? So using the chat box, we want to utilize the chat box and we want to see your comments on among who in these 5 remarkable women do you relate to the most. And then if we have time, we'll call around one or two to at least give their points. Thank you. And we only have one response. Okay, we're waiting for the others, guys.
My char pa na. Bongga. So, can we ask, sino yung nag-answer? Ayana to open her mic maybe, and why does she relate so much with Maria Ressa? Hello.
Morning.
Good morning.
Oh, I relate with Maria Ressa in a way that we both fight for the freedom of speech. For example, she was fighting the oppression against press freedom, right? We all know that. And I'm also very, what do you call this one? Ako din, myself, I also want to be vocal. I'm not the type of person who wants to be shut down whenever I want to say something. So, yun, I can relate to her at that extent.
Okay, very good. So can we call another one, maybe the host, since maybe he knows more about the participants who can answer. Another one. Maybe he can call name. Oh, di ba? Na-pressure ang host. Pinasa ko ang trabaho ko. Charot. So, ako na lang ang pipili. So, can I ask, random andito ba to sila lahat, no? Oh my gosh. Okay. So, can I ask Fatima Zadia, to whom women do you relate most as of the moment? Binibining Pilipinas question. Charot. Hello?
Hello, good morning.
Okay. So yes.
I feel like I can also relate to Maria Ressa since even though she is currently some people tried to bring her down and to press some charges against her. She still fight for what is right and fight for the press freedom of the various journalists and for the journalism to still continue and express the facts. So with Maria Ressa, I can say that I can also relate to her since I don't want my voice to be what you call that, to be stopped or not to be acknowledged. And also with Maria Ressa, she is a strong fighter. She is a journalism that really expresses what is right and knows um, prevails the truth. So that's all.
Okay, thank you for that, Fatima. So hearing these answers no have made me realize how we as women are still thriving to fight for discriminations, equality, and whatnot. Now, going back with our topic, I would like every one of you to listen attentively as I tackle the first slide, which is women exercising their choice, decision making. You know, life is about making decisions, from simple decision making, from getting out of your bed in the morning until you call it a day maybe. We are constantly making decisions and choices, whether it is our personal or professional life. We are often defined by our decisions. Some of our decisions are even mundane and almost automatic, such as brushing our teeth and taking a bath, while some tasks require minor decision making, such as planning your daily schedule. So, what is decision making in general? In its simplest sense, decision making is the act of choosing between two or more courses of action. Decisions can be made through either an intuitive or reasoned process. Now, let's talk about the difference of intuition and reason in decision making in a general sense. Intuition is using your gut feeling about the possible courses of action. Although people talk about it as if it was the magical sense, like for example, so that everyone can relate, for example, yung jowa mo nagselos ka because of your intuition na nagloloko siya kahit wala kang basis dahil intuition mo lang. So ganon, may mga decision making na based sa magical senses lamang. However, intuition is still worth taking into account because it reflects your learnings about life. It is, however, not always based on reality, only the perceptions, many of which have started maybe in your childhood, and maybe it can result to be not a mature decision at the end of the day. Now, reasoning, on the other hand, is using the facts and figures in front of you to make decisions. Reasoning has its roots and facts. It can, however, ignore some emotional aspects to decisions, in particular issues from the past that may affect the way that decision is implemented. Going into the specifics, why is it important for women to make decisions? Worldwide experience actually shows that supporting a stronger role for women contributes to economic growth. It improves child survival and overall family health, and reduces fertility, and thus it helps to slow population growth rates. And in short, investing in women is central to sustainable development, like what Mom had said earlier about sustainable developments. And yet, despite these known returns in other countries, women still face a lot of barriers in contributing to and benefiting from that development. The barriers begins with maybe low investments in female education and health in some countries. And in some countries, they still continue with restricted access to services and assets for women. And they also have worse legal regulatory constraints on women's opportunity. Now, that is why gender equality and women empowerment is and should be the top priority. It is important that every part of the population is equally represented. That is why women should voice out and make decisions in our community and society so that every part of the population is representing. As having men and having female involved in decision making proved that it helps broaden the perspective, increases creativity and innovation, diversifies the pool of talents and competences, reduces conflicts, and improves the process of decision making. Now, this is where voicing out comes in. Why women voices matter. Now, instead of putting an objective type of definition, I have asked last night in an FB group where members are all females and women, and I asked them about why women voices matter, and these are just some of their answer. One answered rather, we use our voices to show hashtag girls I view so that no one tries to tell our stories for us. Second, we use our voices to stand out. Third, our voices inform the world that girls can't be defined by others. Fourth, there's no right idea about being a girl. We are different people. Our voices can impact another girl and create chain reaction of confidence. Now, you can see mabigat siya, di ba? So that other people can tell our story, we should voice out our own, di ba? It is visible that we are still, until now, though we have laws and regulations, we are still fighting for that right, for that freedom to speak out, because in some moments kasi kahit we speak out, and though may mga regulation that we are fighting for equality, there are still instances that people would not respect a woman's choice or decision, and that is really true. And so our voices matter and are important because oftentimes our views, our opinions and ideas are deemed insignificant because we are only girls, only girls living in the male dominated society. Even though the laws protect women's rights, it does not mean that people respect our rights. Girls are treated differently because of our gender, and our rights are actually nullified for being born a female, which is not our fault in the first place. Even today, many women and girls are judged or looked down upon just because of our gender. And so, our voices matter because we should be able to speak up if we are being treated unfairly, if we feel something is wrong, maybe. So we shouldn't let people disregard what we are saying. And in the personal view, I cannot recall how many times I was refused to do something because it's not a girl's job, for example. For example, fixing a motorcycle. I should not do that because that should be the work of my dad. So I was not allowed to do that in simple terms like that. And so at the end of the day, we are all humans. And so if we are able as a woman to speak up and not be looked down upon, then maybe things will change. This is the reason why girls and women needs to speak up and let our voices be heard so that we can empower other girls and women around the world to stand up and voice our own opinions by taking the advantages of resources that we have right now. For example, as a youth, the social media, we can use it to convey our thoughts, our opinions, and experiences. It is also, I believe, it is also the best way to reach out to other girls around or women around the world with the hope to influence and to inspire them to stand up and speak up for themselves. Now, let's delve into known women that is a leader and is leading in their own way. First, we will delve into Heidi Diaz and on how she broke gender stereotype in weightlifting. She is not only our winner in the in the Tokyo Olympics, diba? In the Tokyo Olympics, medalists breaking the she broke records left and right, and also yes, she's smashed the stereotypes in sports, and she inspired a whole generation of athletes to keep chasing their dreams regardless of their gender. Because in the country like ours, the Philippines, gender stereotypes are deeply ingrained in the culture, especially in sports. For example, boys are expected to take up basketball and boxing, while girls are told to take up ballet or volleyball. Diba? It is sad that to see that um, often we are still like there is still gender gap when it comes to sports, for example. And so Heidi Lynn Diaz became the face of those discrimination to girls by being part of the weightlifting team, which is a sports in the past, which is considered a sports for male. Now we have Maria Ressa. She boldly spoke out about importance and precarity of holding the line for independent journalism in an age of authoritarian populism and fake news that has inspired a lot of journalists. So again, I have already said this earlier that she became the voice of the journalist to not be puppeted by a lot of politicians here, especially here in the Philippines, to speak out of the truth so that people will be informed accurately in our media, even with our media. Next is Sojourner Truth. So this is in history. She was an African American evangelist, and she is also a women's rights activist and author. She she preached about abolitionism and equal rights for all. Throughout her life, she became one of the world's best known human rights crusaders. So this is just one of the few of the many women who fought um, women's rights from the past, and then still a lot of women are fighting for it today. I think Marga will take in the next slide. Next slide.
Yes. And thank you, Sunny. Okay, now for my part, this is where do women stand in society? And we're going to talk about women's representation in the different parts of society because women full and equal participation in all facets of society is a fundamental human right. Yet around the world, from politics to entertainment to the workplace, women and girls are largely underrepresented. And in order to build a future for everyone, it means no one must be left behind. Gender or status or any age must not be left. and everyone must be included in planning. And women are an important part of creating these solutions to the current issues that we are facing. So first, next slide please. So first, we're going to talk about uh, political standing and the representation of women in politics. So according to UN Women 2020, globally, women's political representation has doubled in the last 25 years. But this only amounts to around 1 in 4 parliamentary seats held by women today. And according to data in October 2019, globally there were only 10 women head of state and 13 women head of government across 22 countries, compared with 4 head of state and 8 prime ministers across 12 countries in 1995. And in the context of the Philippines, the percentage of women elected into public office ranged from 16.1% to 21.44%, and these are from the years 1998 to 2016. It reached its peak in the 2016 elections from 21.44%. However, this representation is not enough because even if our country has made great steps in promoting and increasing women's political participation in our country, especially when we had 2 women having held the highest position in the government as President of the Philippines, namely the late President Cory Aquino and Gloria Macapagal Arroyo, the proportion of women in politics or public office is still yet to meet the 30% critical mass, which is identified as the minimum percentage necessary for a minority group to be able to influence in decision making. And during the latest election from 2019, the national and local elections, only 21.16% or 8,782 of the candidates were female, which still it's not enough as we haven't reached the 30% for the critical mass. Which is why in terms of politics and representation of women, women are still continuously underrepresented in different political positions. Next. And then let's talk about how women stand in the workforce. And although the Philippines has taken steps to improve gender equality, women are still faced with challenges in the workplace. Now, number one is the unequal distribution of domestic responsibilities towards women, and two, gender stereotypes, which contribute to a continuous decline of women's representation in the workforce. This is because there are assumptions that women are not the primary breadwinners of the family, and instead they are seen as caregivers. They are seen as those responsible to take care of a home, to meet the basic needs of its members, such as cooking, cleaning, and of course taking care of the household, taking care of the children and other dependent family members. um, Aside from that, there are stereotypes where people would say that women should be in the kitchen, women should stay at home to take care of the children, and that men should be the ones who would provide for the family. But in the current situation today, this is not this is not enough to sustain a family. Each one, even the females or the women, should be working together along with the men to provide with the family, and women should not be tied down to having this implication that women must share a greater bulk of responsibilities and doing um, childcare and doing housework, and instead they should focus on women have this difficulty in focusing on work and family if people still press this responsibilities for women to be able to balance childcare, domestic responsibilities, and work. And this is the result of why it is difficult for women to climb up from their careers, and their promotion are slightly slower compared to the men. And then the third challenges that they face and is that women are there is a pay gap. Women still get paid less than their male counterparts for doing the same job. there is a study that revealed here in the country, here in the Philippines, that male employees earn more compared to their female counterparts for the same position, for the same job, even though the Philippines always ranks well in the World Economic Forum's Global Gender Gap Report. And even though we fairly rank well, this gender pay gap only proves that there is still much work to be done to achieve this equality in the workplace. After all, if they are in the same job, in the same level, or in the same position, there should be no difference in receiving salary, in the paycheck, in what women earn compared to the men. And this just implies that there is this discriminatory practices or patriarchal prejudice against women in the workplace. Although there are also successful women who became CEOs in their own companies in the business sector, this representation is not enough, as there are still women who are struggling to make a mark in their own workforce. Next slide, please. And then when we talk about culture and the sciences, of course, everyone knows the Nobel Prize, which has been awarded to more than 900 individuals in the course of its history from 1901 to 2019. And among those 900 individuals, only 53 of the winners have been women, and 19 of those in the category are of women from STEM, which includes physics, chemistry, and physiology or medicine. And according to researchers, only 30% of researchers worldwide and 35% of all students enrolled in STEM-related fields of study are women, even though women have been identified or have been behind a different number of scientific discoveries, scientific innovations throughout history. And as of 2021, there have been 58 women now who have been awarded the Nobel Prize. And on December 2021, Rappler CEO Maria Ressa received a Nobel Peace Prize, making her the first Filipino woman to get the prestigious award. And this is historical in a sense in the Philippines, because the first one who have ever received the Nobel Peace Prize is a woman who is fighting for what is right and for the truth and facts. Okay, next. Okay, so this is just a visualization of the Nobel Prize winners from years 1901 to 2019. We can see here that there are only 53 women who received the Nobel Prize, one of which is Marie Curie, who received two Nobel Prize in in different categories such as physics and science. But currently in 2021, we have 58 women who have already received the prize. Next slide, please. And then we have women in sports. Of course, sports has the power to inspire change and break stereotypes. And women have been doing just that decades after decades, showing that they are just as capable and resilient and strong as men, physically but also strategically as leaders and game changers. And when we talk about sports, most of the time people would think that it is a predominantly male career. However, during the 2020 Tokyo Olympics, this was the first ever gender balanced Olympic Games in history, because it recorded with almost 49% of the athletes that were there are women. And it was also during this time that in the 2020 Olympics where Filipino weightlifter Heidi Diaz won a gold medal, making her the Philippines' first Olympic gold medalist in a predominantly male sport. Also, let us not forget Nesty Petesio, a Filipino boxer who also won a silver medal in the women's featherweight category for boxing, which is also commonly a predominantly male sport. But females or the women have made an impact that they can also play in the same field as men. So to conclude, where do women stand in society? Next slide, please. I would just, wait, before po pala. This is the visualization of the Olympic Games from 1896 to 2020. And as of 2020, there are 46 women's sports and 45 men's sports. Next slide, please. So to answer the question, where do women stand in society? I would just like to quote Ruth Bader Ginsburg, uh, a former Supreme Court Justice of the United States and also the first Jewish female Supreme Court Justice. He says that women belong in all places where decisions are being made, and it shouldn't be that women are an exception because building a future for everyone means no one must be left behind, and that women play an important part in creating solutions to the current issues that we are facing. We are women, babae tayo, hindi tayo babae lang, and we are more than what others see. We are strong, we are empowered, and we are capable of making an impact in the society, and no matter what people perceive us, we are stronger than they think, and that our emotions are not our weakness but one of our strengths. As women know our capabilities, and it is our time to show people that we are able to take part in the same field as everyone, regardless of our gender and our status. Thank you very much.
Thank you, student leaders, for the discussion on women exercising their choices and women leading change and reaching their full potential. That was very eye-opening. Now, our student leaders are ready for questions about their discussion. Comment down below and we'll acknowledge you one by one.
Or maybe if there are no questions, we can ask at least three participants, female participants, to share their how what was their difficulty on being a woman in a society and how did they overcome it. Yun. If there are no questions, yun lang.
I have questions for you guys. So my question is, how can men contribute to women empowerment since we're talking about it?
Yeah, I would like to start first. Um, First, I would like to answer that I came from a family who is predominantly there are a lot of male in the house, and I guess I've seen a lot of males that are in social media that do not have this sense of respect for women, or that they've done the bare minimum and they think that this is empowering women already, but it is not. Kasi for males to participate in empowering women, they must also know that there are struggles that women face that men do not. Kasi example is catcalling or sexual harassment. Although men experience it too, women mostly take this harder compared to the male. And so for me, to take part in empowering women, they must know that there are flaws, there are rules, and that there are many things that what constitutes um a woman, and that they must learn to not base a woman on her sex or her gender, because women have more capabilities than they can think of, that they can offer.
Yes, I would also like to add that this respect and equality should also not be limited to female and male, but also the LGBTQ community also. The male and the female should also respect the decision of these genders, that they should be accepted in the society, and that the gender will not define their capabilities as a person. That's all.
Thank you for answering that. Mr. Francisco Ang has a question for you. Mr. Ang?
Yes, allow me to ask this question. So, we know that the society is the one who construct the gender roles, as being mentioned by the presenters. I not as being mentioned by the presenters, but it is evident that the society is the one who construct the gender roles, because in workforce, as being presented, that men have been clearly have the highest salary due to the level of intensity of work, and in education or in academics, only 30 to 35% is women are being enrolled. So how does this society construct these gender roles, and how is it disadvantageous in today's world?
Well, gender roles are disadvantages in today's world, kasi it implies that, or it puts boundaries as to where women could stand, especially in the workforce. So if we're talking about jobs that are, example, let's say public relations, other people would say that women are more suited doon compared to if women starts to work in business, in finance, or in architecture or engineering or STEM related work. They would sometimes, or this would put this thought that women, women are not capable of doing this, or they are not capable of such work kasi it would be too heavy for them, since these kinds of work are more suited for men, when in reality hindi, because this gender roles, example, if let's say women belong in the kitchen, or women should just stay at home to take care of their children, men or people would think that women should just focus on those things instead of doing heavy works that men do, when in reality women are just as capable of men as just as capable as men when it comes to working.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Miss Usman. I hope your question was answered, Mr. Ang. May I call on Miss City? Mayan?
Yes. Good day, Miss Usman and Miss Santiago. Okay. My question is, since no, like we are in today's world, like if you're going to compare it from today and to the past talaga is women are voiceless, and there are like limited rights for women compared to now. And since there are a lot of advocates who um educates a lot of not just women but also all types of gender regarding the women's right and such like that. My question here is, do you think we are doing enough for women empowerment, and do you think that people in this generation are well informed and educated enough for this type of issue?
Okay, so for me, no, this is where this type of clubs, especially in school, comes in because these types of clubs and organization, other organization, or maybe some of the government also um also organizations comes in because they help in educating other genders about this women empowerment as to where women stands in the society today because this really traces back in our ancestors. And yes, I resonate with you that in the history we don't really have enough voice to be heard, and now we have this, and I believe we are still on the process because it is a process of growth and understanding because you cannot just tell someone to understand immediately if you're teaching them because it is still a process of learning that we should teach each and everyone. Yes, yun. Do you have something to add, Marga?
I'll add something. Aside from that, we really although we are doing much, we still need to do more because even if there are many events, many advocates, many promotions, or many steps that we had to take in order to champion women empowerment, we still need to scaffold, we still need to build an even stronger foundation to in order for people of different genders and people of different sectors to fully understand that fully understand about women and how they could contribute to their empowerment.
I would just like to add, no, like since you have mentioned earlier that we're not doing enough, we're still in the process, or which means that we should do much more from this moment. I would like to ask, do you think what are the lacking aspects that people don't have today? That's why kaya hindi nila na-realize that women are empowered and should be those people who also have voices. So, in your own opinion, no, or on your own perspective, ano yung wala ngayon sa society natin? Kung bakit in today parang kahit pilit natin na gumagawa tayo ng ganitong webinar, no, and we're educating them, but then there are also people like they cannot even we try to educate them again and again and again and build a strong foundation. Parang may mga lacking pa rin. So what do you think is lacking from that po?
For me lang ha, as I've observed, especially through social media, there are still people na kahit ilang beses nyo i-approach, ilang beses nyo you try to give them information, you try to educate them about these kinds of topics, they would still not get it. And I think what's lacking for me is the drive and the compassion to at least not be harsh in educating, not be parang sobrang, how would I put this? Sobrang arrogant when you're trying to help people understand these things. Because if your approach to educating people towards women empowerment or other topics or issues related to that, if you try to educate people in a manner of being rude, in a manner of being parang I'm better than you, then they would really not take it seriously. They would really not learn from it. So, become kahit na gaano pa sila ka-slow, gaano pa sila ka nahihirapan na parang just I don't care about your opinion. Become more understanding, become more patient, or become more at least compassionate about educating them towards these topics. It would slowly make a change towards them understanding.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Man and Miss Angel.
Thank you, student leaders, for that discussion and for entertaining our questions. Now let us proceed to continue our icebreaker lately. May I call on CSM Gender Club Vice President Zainab Mahmood?
Yes, good morning again. So, I can we flash the questions or okay, so same mechanics earlier. The first one to give the correct letter after the go signal will be the winner. So let's move on to the question. So here, I think something's wrong with the PPT. So anyway, for this question, it is a program in the Philippines that intend and promote to women's rights. So what do you call this program? So for letter A, we have the the Philippine Commission on Women. Letter B, Department of Social Welfare and Development. And letter C, Women's Economic Empowerment. Go. Okay, we have a winner, Miss Christine de los Santos. Her answer is letter A, which is correct. So the Philippine Commission on Women is the program that promotes women's rights in the Philippines. Please note, Christine de los Santos. Next, we have for the question 2. Here, who's the woman in the picture? So she is actually the first Filipino that led an uprising against foreign power. So it's a bit of the throwback into history. So who is this woman? A, we have Tandang Sora. B, Gabriela Silang. C, Cory Aquino. Go. Miss Shatterland, I think you have answered already. Let's give chance to other. Jericho. Okay, we have the winner, Jericho Lopez. So the correct answer is letter B, Gabriela Silang. Please note. Next. So who is the mother of revolution as shown in the picture? Letter A, Tandang Sora. B, Gabriela Silang. C, Cory Aquino. Go. Okay, we have Angelina Jade Beralde for the winner. Letter A, Tandang Sara. Next, please. So very participative ang mga participants natin, no? So that's really good. So for the second to the last question, we have here. She's actually the one who led the Katipunan's chapter in Panay and also known as the Visayan Joan of Arc. So letter A, Teresa Magbanwa. Letter B, Ilanes Escoda, and letter C, Josefina Escoda. Go. So, okay. For this question, we have Sally Mayhada as the winner. Letter A, Teresa Magbanwa. Next. So, this will be the last question. So, when is I know most everyone here know this already. So, when is the National Women's Day held in the Philippines? So, letter A, March 4, letter B, March 12, letter C, March 8. Go. Okay. Miss Amira Estrada, you have the correct answer. So, thank you for participating, guys.
March 8.
So thank you very much for the participants who participated in our little icebreaker. I hope you all enjoyed and learned something from our little question and answer. So next we will move on with the awarding of certificates. This is going to be given by none other than our CSM Gender Club Advisor, Ms. Arias Coros, along with our CSM Gender Club President, Ms. City May and Musa. The e-certificates are going to be signed by our Dean of College.
Yes.
Okay, next please.
Certificate of Appreciation. Okay.
So, okay, let me give this certificate of appreciation. This certificate is proudly presented to Dr. Mariam Zamora Julkanain for her invaluable insights, experiences, and expertise shared with the participants of the webinar during Women Empowerment Celebration with the theme of Agenda ng Kababaihan, Tungo sa Kaunlaran, organized by College of Science and Mathematics Gender Club held on April 10, 2022, signed by WIMSU CSM Gender Club President Siti Mian Musa, signed by WIMSU CSM Gender Club Advisor Aria S. Tolentino Coros, and this will be signed by the WIMSU CSM Dean Dr. Arcila Nancy A. Lim.
Okay.
Next, please. So, certificate of appreciation. This certificate is proudly presented to Miss Sani Santiago for her invaluable insights, experiences, and expertise shared with the participants of the webinar during Women Empowerment Celebration with the theme of Agenda ng Kababaihan Tungo sa Kaunlaran, organized by College of Science and Mathematics Gender Club held on April 10, 2022, signed by WIMSU CSM Gender Club President Siti Mi and Musa, signed by WIMSU CSM Gender Club Advisor Aria S. Tolentino Coros, and this will be signed by WIMSU CSM Dean Dr. Arcelay Nancy A. Lim. Next, please. Certificate of Appreciation. This certificate is proudly presented to Ms. Jeramarga Usman for her invaluable insights, experiences, and expertise shared with the participants of the webinar during Women Empowerment Celebration with the theme of Agenda ng Kababaihan Tungo sa Kaunlaran, organized by College of Science and Mathematics Gender Club held on April 10, 2022.
signed by WIMSU CSM Gender Club President, Sitimi Anju Musa, signed by WIMSU CSM Gender Club Advisor, Aria S. Tolentino Coros, and these will be signed by WIMSU CSM Dean Dr. Arcila Nancy Alin. Thank you very much, resource speakers and guest speakers, for giving your time.
Thank you so much
Okay.
po for the
Yes.
opportunity po.
We actually prepared a token po, and we will just contact you with this. Thank you so much. Okay.
Thank you so much, Miss Musa, our CSM Gender Club President, to our guest speakers. Thank you so much for being participating in our webinar. We hope to see you in our next endeavor. So now we will proceed with the reading of messages from our participants that we collected. So partner Charles, what do we have here?
Thank you, Ms. Jimeno. Now I'm going to read some of the messages of our participants in their registration form. I have selected few. Let us begin with this one. We should be the leader of our life and stand for what is right. Every woman is unique and have different personality, which makes us beautiful inside out. Confidence is the best outfit that we can wear anytime. We should empower each other because that is what makes us a true woman. Always remember, women can rule and change the world into a better place to live in. Now, this is such an inspirational message for all of the women here today. Now, for the next one, we have, you are beautiful, you are strong, you are amazing, you have the power to make this world a better and more beautiful place to live in just by being you. I'm rooting for you. Thank you. Next is, every woman's success could be an inspiration to another. Hence, empowered women empowers others as well. Fighting. Next, we have, keep on fighting. And remember this quote. A strong woman knows she has strength enough for the journey, but a woman of strength knows it is the journey where she will become strong. You're loved enough and hindi basta babae lang. Ravan moi. These beautiful messages can empower every woman. Next, overrule your fears and do what you know is right. Besides, life can be tough, but so are you. However, don't forget that you are loved and appreciated even though nobody tells you, because I do. Believe in yourself. You can do more than what you think. Don't let others define your worth. Take the chance. Do what you want. And lastly, we have, be who you are and be strong in all trials and struggles, because woman is the foundation of every man. All of our messages have one thing in common, and that is to empower women all over the world. Thanks to all of you for your messages, for the heartwarming and meaningful messages. Now let us welcome again WIMSU CSM Gender Club President, Ms. Siti May Ann Musa, for the closing remarks.
Thank you, Mr. Avian. So before I begin, I'd want to express my sincere
Let us wait for Ms. Musa. I think she has a technical difficulties with her internet problem.
While waiting for our CSM President, I would just like to ask everybody, Kamusta na po kayo so far? Andiyan pa po ba kayo, participants? Are you still there? How are we feeling? Gutom na ba kayo? It's almost 12. I would also like to add those the winners for the icebreaker earlier. You can message our Facebook page, so you can claim your prize. We also have notes naman kung sino yung mga nanalo, but we wanted to message po sa aming page so you can claim for your prize.
While waiting for Miss Musa, I can read one more message. A message from an anonymous participant. The message is, first off, it's an honor to celebrate my birthday with that of the National Women's Month celebration. To every woman out there, don't let anybody stop you from becoming your most feminine or masculine self, whichever you prefer actually. Don't let others define who you are. Do what you want, pursue your dream career, and show them that we can lead too. Happy Women's Month.
That's naman. Happy birthday yung sa nag
Happy birthday po.
Belated. Musa is really having fun.
Let's have another, guys. To all women out there, always remember that we are strong, empowered, we are capable of doing many things, and we are not just a woman, we are women. Women protects women. We are not a woman for nothing. We rule the world. Do not let the world rule you. Let's rule the wild waves instead of being ruled. We are all beautiful with a heart. Thank you for that message. And sino ka man?
So nice messages, right?
Yes,
okay,
ma'am.
and this can become our commitment to the celebration of the Women's Month, no? As the Philippine Commission on Women calls on everyone to continue celebrating oneness from all walks of life, even beyond the National Women's Month, right? Because they deserve the honor every single day. So everyone deserves the honor, whatever gender we belong. Right, guys?
Yes,
so,
ma'am.
can we include their comments as their commitment towards the end? No, sa report natin. Okay, we'll be preparing a report too for this program. So with all the comments of each participant, and we enjoy. Now you enjoy reading their comments.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you so much. Where is Anne now?
May power interruption po daw sa kanila, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, po. While waiting po, ma'am, I can read some of the messages po, ma'am.
Okay, continue.
We have here, for too long, women have not been heard or believed if they dare to speak their truth to the power of those men. They're the women whose names we'll never know. They are domestic workers and farm workers. They are working in factories, and they work in restaurants and in academia and engineering, medicine, and science. They are part of the world of tech and politics and in business. They are athletes in the Olympics, and they are soldiers in the military. That's a hard one, actually. That's true.
That's true, really true.
Yes, they are not being heard for a long time din po, ma'am.
Yes, and I'm so proud to say Anne, are you
Hello,
there?
Miss Musa.
Okay na.
Welcome back. You can continue your speech na po, ate.
So, I'm really sorry for what happened earlier. Yes, na-blackout po. Audible po ba ako? Am I
Yes.
audible?
Yes.
Am I audible?
Yeah, we
Can
can
you
hear
hear me
you.
clearly?
Yes, yes,
I'm
yes,
really
Miss Musa.
sorry. Okay. So I'm really sorry for what happened earlier, no? And this is really one of the hindrances kung bakit especially when it comes to webinar, like yung internet, yung ilaws, there are like the instances and the hindrances. So like what I've said earlier, I'd like to express my gratitude to MCs, Miss Meno and Mr. Abian for hosting this important occasion. And of course, I'd also want to thank the guest speakers, Ms. Santiago and Ms. Guzman, for giving such a great presenter what call this lectures earlier. So, and of course to our ever supported Dean Dr. Lim, and of course our WIMSU CSM Gender Club advisor Mrs. Coros, and everyone who attended for their informative and passionate remarks. Thank you again, of course, to Dr. Julkarnain, who gave us for joining and contribution an important viewpoint to the discussion. And I really did thankful for everyone for attending Women Empowerment Webinar, which aims to highlight the progress made for women and girls and analyze gender equality efforts and look ahead to the steps that must be taken to guarantee that women are empowered. Actually, no, the participants from this webinar is 119 participants. There were 119 participants. And sadly to say, there are just 40 participants who attended this webinar because of course, because the internet connection and the situation that we have currently right now in Samselco, and of course the weather itself. And I'm really glad that everyone, your presence are all here, that you are all guys are here. And I'm really thankful, and saying thankful to you guys is not enough on how thankful I am. So this webinar, no, a women empowerment webinar is first and a critical chance to highlight the link between violence against women and food and nutrition security. So it is tough to contribute much to the great debate and films we have seen. And our eyes, ears, and emotions are filled with stories of bravery and optimism. Just like the messages earlier, these are the stories that will stay with us when we return to our homes, offices, or to those things that we go to. So this motivate us to take violence against women, food security, and rural development compels us to examine these three issues concurrently. So the issue of violence against women and girls was acknowledged by almost every country, from the richest to the poorest, and many nations spoke about the necessity of prosecution in ensuring the rule of law and the protection of women. We need to take the next step, and we must ensure that the aims of this and the goals are met. We are thus designing the date of 2022, which is this year, as a time for us to properly examine whether we are moving in the correct path. We therefore urge you to focus also on the 2019, 2020, and 2021, because rather than merely the future itself, since we will report on the progress ever. Today, we were reminded of what many women face through their lives, as well as the dreadful repercussions for them and their children. Let us never forget, and let us remember what we learned today and keep it in our to-do list. All women and girls are entitled to a life free of violence, to a women of voices. I hope that this marks the start of the eradication of gender inequality, and I hope that women are now empowered compared to the histories. Again, thank you everyone for your time, and I hope you have enjoyed and learned a lot from this webinar. Take care, Godspeed, Abante, bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you so
to our
much,
yes.
Miss Sa.
Thank you, May Ann.
Thank you to our WIMSU CSM Gender Club President, Ms. Musa. Now to end this webinar, before we end this, let me read this quote. A strong woman knows she has strength enough for the journey, but a woman of strength knows it is in the journey where she will become strong. By C.J. Lewis. Thank you everyone for participating. Thank you, Ma'am Chorus, and to our guest speakers and to our resource speakers for attending this webinar. Thank you all for your participation.
Thank you to the masters of the ceremony. Done well. Okay, excellently
I would like
executed.
to remind everyone.
Yes, yes.
I would like to remind everyone about the webinar evaluation because through this we can improve ourselves, and of course
Yes.
we will know what are the lackings and perhaps what are the things that we need to improve. And of course I would like to apologize because technical difficulties. First, we all know the situation right now, especially comes on conducting it through not face to face, no, like internet
Yeah,
lang,
that's
webinar
true.
lang. And I hope you understand that lapses are uncontrolled and they are not controlled by me. Thank you so much. And thank you for really attending this webinar. We are going to put the evaluation form on our page, and please um go and fill it up for you to be recognized. And of course we're going to give certificates for those people who attended today. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Anne, for this. Okay, so this is a milestone in the gender club, no, for this school year, last year actually. And this is one of the first webinars you have done so far, right, Anne? And more will be coming. So we
Yes,
started with one. Okay, more will come. With the leadership of City May and Musa.
Yes, ma'am. Actually, no, this is really hard to conduct the webinar because there are a lot of difficulties na nangyari during
That's true, yes.
conducting this webinar. And I'm really thankful that, yes, I'm really thankful that naging successful siya and such like that. And by this, I would like to request everyone to open their cam para mag-photo up naman tayo so that we can post it on social media. I would also like to remind those people who won during the games. You can message the page and you can claim the page. But first, message message the page first po, so that we can recognize you. Again, I'm requesting everyone to open their cam so that meron tayong photo op. Thank you very much.
I would like to thank to one of my students, si Almira Estrada, who attended this webinar today. Almira, thank you.
Yes. Okay. So let's take a picture now together so that we can upload this on social media. Okay, so Miss Tala.
Okay. Yung PPT.
Paalis ang PPT, Zach.
Okay na. 1, 2, 3.
Okay.
Wait lang. One, two, three.
Okay. Again, I would like to thank our guest speakers, Miss Usman and Miss Santiago, because you really inspired us, no, from this day. And
Yes.
I hope that from your guys are just students, but then you have this voice to inspire and influence other people. And I hope that you will continue that and mas marami pa kayong ma-influence at ma-empower na mga babae. Mabuhay kayo.
Oh,
Thank you for the
yes, Sandy
opportunity.
D, Santiago, and what's the name? Marga, Usman, thank you so much for accepting our invitation and be with us during this time.
Yes. So again, thank you everyone. Goodbye. Please don't forget to evaluate us on our page. Thank you.
Thank you to all the participants. Thank you for attending this webinar.
Thank you, everyone, for
Thank you everyone.
participating.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you for the
Thank you.
host.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you guys. Thank